Hi, and welcome to this video. In this video, you will learn how to install the pfSense open source firewall on a Type 1 hypervisor. To get started, head over to Google and search for pfSense, like so. Then, access the official website by clicking on the URL that says pfSense.org. Then, click on Downloads, and here, click on this blue button that says Download. Now, you'll need to select your installation image type. Simply use the drop-down menu and select ISO, and then click Add to Cart. Keep in mind that this is free, but you need to create an account to perform the checkout. Then, Netgate will allow you to download the ISO image. Once you have the ISO image, head over back to your hypervisor. In this lab topology, I'm actually using VMware ESXi. If you have the ISO image already saved on your computer, simply click on Storage, Data Store 1, Data Store Browser, select where you want to upload the image. Here, as you can see, I have a subfolder called ISO Images. And inside here, I've already uploaded the Netgear image. If you need to upload the image here, you can simply click on Upload and select the image from your downloads directory. Before we proceed to install the pfSense firewall, let's create a couple of virtual switches. These virtual switches will simply allow us to connect our pfSense firewall to different virtual networks. Simply click on networking like so, and here we can see we have the port groups, and we also have virtual switches. By default, vSwitch 0 is created when you have installed VMware ESXi. If you click on vSwitch 0, we can see the virtual topology on the right side. Here we can see vSwitch 0 is connected to our physical network interface card, and this here is a management IP address. If we select port groups, we have two port groups by default. There's a VM network, which is connected to our Ubuntu virtual machine. If I click this, you can see that it is associated to the physical network interface card. And of course, there's a management network. So let's create two additional virtual switches. Simply select virtual switches like so, then select Add Standard Virtual Switch. We shall name this virtual switch vSwitch1. Next, let's create another virtual switch. We shall name this vSwitch2. Great. So now we have a total of 3 virtual switches. vSwitch0 will function as the network or the switch that provides internet connectivity to the firewall. In other words, it will connect to the WAN interface of the pfSense firewall. Virtual switch 1 will be connected to the LAN interface, while vSwitch2 will be connected to the DMZ. Now, we need to create port groups. These port groups will be associated to each virtual switch. For instance, we can see that vSwitch 0 is associated to VM network and also the management network. Therefore, we will leave this as is. Let's create 2 additional port groups. We'll call this port group 1, that will be associated to vSwitch 1. And here you can see vSwitch 1 is selected. Let's create another port group. We shall call this port group number 2, and it shall be associated to vSwitch 2. Great. So now we have the 2 additional port groups. Next, let's proceed to install our pfSense firewall as a virtual machine. I'm going to click on Create, like so. Going to click on Next. And I'm going to set a name. I'm going to call this pfSense. For the guest family type, I'm going to use Linux. And for the guest OS version, I'm going to use, let's say, Ubuntu Linux 64-bit. Going to click on Next. Next once more. I'm going to leave this as 2 CPUs, but I'm going to expand and enable the virtualization features here like so. For the memory, I'm going to change this to gigabyte, and I'm going to assign 4 gigs. For the hard drive space or hard drive storage, I'm going to change this to 60 gigabytes. Next, I'm going to ensure that adapter 1, the network adapter 1, is connected to VM network. Adapter 1 will function as a WAN interface. I'm going to add another adapter. And for adapter 2, which is a new network adapter like this, I'm going to assign this to port group 1. However, I'm not seeing port group as yet. So I will add this adapter after. I'm going to delete it. Then for CD, DVD drive, I'm going to use a drop down. I'm going to select data, store, ISO file. And I'm going to select the pfSense installer image like so. I'm going to click on next and finish to create a virtual environment. I'm going to select the virtual environment like so. I'm going to edit it. And this time I'm going to add the virtual network adapters once more. So now we can see the new network adapter, which is technically adapter 2, is assigned to port group 1. I'm going to add the other network adapter like so. Going to ensure this is assigned to port group 2. I'm going to click on save and going to power on this virtual machine. I'm going to press enter to accept the license agreement. Going to press enter to install pfSense. Going to press enter once more. And VMEXi is currently a WAN interface which is connected to VM network. Going to click on enter. Well, press enter to accept. Enter once more to continue. Now I will need to select the LAN interfaces. I'm going to use VMX1. Going to press enter to select it. And here we can see that it is using some default configurations. That's okay for now. I'm going to press enter to proceed with the installation. I'm going to press enter to continue. And now pfSense is attempting to reach out to Netgate servers. This will take a few moments. Once you've reached the screen, select Install CE. CE is Community Edition, which is the free version of pfSense. I'm going to press enter to continue the installation. Enter once more again, and enter for yes. And now the installation is going to begin. Actually, it checks and verifies that there is actually a beta version, but let's stay on the safe side. Let's select current stable version and press enter. So at this point, it's going to install all the packages and perform the installation of the operating system. Great, the installation is finished. Gonna press enter for OK, and it's asking to reboot. Gonna say yes to reboot. So now we have to perform some configurations. It's asking us to enter the WAN interface. Well, this is going to be VMX0. Then we need to specify the LAN interface. Going to do VMX1. And should we enter an optional interface? No, we'll configure this afterwards. Do you want to proceed? Yes. Great. So we can see the firewall installation is complete. It has received a DHCP IP address from my modem, which is the 172.16.17.110, and it has automatically assigned a private IP address to its LAN interface, which is the 192.168.1.1. Now, could we access the firewall management interface from the WAN port? By default, no. If you try to, it will simply refuse to terminate the connection. To access the firewall initially, we need to connect on the LAN interface. But how can we do that? Because our firewall is in a virtual environment. Well, technically, we can. So let's take a look at the total number of virtual machines we have right now. We have the Ubuntu desktop. We could move the Ubuntu desktop and connect it to the same interface as the LAN port of the firewall. To do this, select the Ubuntu desktop like so, and here you can see it is set to port group 1. This was done in the prior video. But let's say that we need a quick recap. We can simply click on Edit, like so, and where it says Network Adapter 1, we can simply use a drop-down menu and move it from VM Network and set it to port group 1. Click on Save, and now we can power on this virtual machine. Once this virtual machine is powered on, it will automatically receive an IP address from the DHCP server that is running on the firewall. Then we'll be able to open the web browser and connect to the firewall management address. So I'm going to log in with my credentials. Great. Let's check to see whether we have received an IP address from the firewall. I'm going to click on Show Applications. I'm going to open a terminal, and I'm going to run the IP address command like so. On our LAN interface, here you can see we have received an IP address on the same network as the LAN port of the firewall. So therefore, we should be able to ping the firewall interface, provided that ICMP is perhaps not disabled by default. So we'll do ping 192.168.1.1. We'll do -C, and we'll run 4 pings. And here we can see we have end-to-end connectivity with our firewall. Therefore, if I open the web browser and I enter the management IP, I should be able to log in. I'm going to click on Advanced, going to accept the risk and continue, and here we go. We have the pfSense login portal. I'm just going to make this a little bigger. I'm going to use the default login credentials, which is admin, followed by pfSense. Going to click on Next. Next once more. Going to use the default host name. For the domain, I'm going to use darknetlabs.local because it sounds like fun. The primary DNS server, I'm going to use Cloudflare, like so. And for the secondary, I'm going to use Cord9. Going to click on Next. For the time server, I'm going to use Google's NTP server, which is time.google.com. Going to set my time zone. Currently, I'm in GMT -4. Going to click on Next. Going to scroll down. Going to leave all of this as default, except these 2 options. Simply because I want to create a rule afterwards that will allow me to access the firewall's administrative portal through the WAN interface. Therefore, I don't always have to use this virtual machine to connect and administer or manage a firewall. Going to click on Next. For the LAN IP, I'm going to leave this as default for now. Going to click on Next. Going to change the administrator password. Going to click on Next, like so. And now it's time to reload the firewall and actually apply the configurations. Great. Going to scroll down, going to click on Finish. Going to accept the terms, going to click on Close. And there we go. We have our firewall set up and configured. However, I'm going to create a firewall rule that will allow me to access the firewall from the WAN interface. But let's check to see if I could actually access it at the moment. 172.16.17.110, like so. And we can see that nothing is happening. So I'm going to stop this and I'm going to create that firewall rule. Going to head over back to my Ubuntu machine, like so. Going to click on Firewall, Rules. Going to select the WAN interface. Then I'm going to click on Add. The action is to permit or to pass traffic. Apply this to the WAN interface. Family type, this is the type of addresses. Going to leave this as IPv4. Since I'll be using HTTPS and a transport layer protocol will be TCP, I'm going to leave TCP as default. The source address, I'm going to leave this as any, or I can simply specify a network, which is 172.16.17.0, and for the prefix, /24. For the destination, it shall be this firewall self. The destination port range, I'm going to use a drop down and use HTTPS. For the description, I'm going to set permit admin via WAN. Going to click on save. And now I need to click on apply changes for the changes to take effect. Great. Let's test this out. I'm going to go back on a new tab. Going to click on refresh. And did this work? Let's try pfSense 1. And now, going to click on advance. Accept the risk and continue. And look, now I'm able to log in on the WAN interface on the pfSense virtual firewall that is running in my virtual environment. Having completed this video, you have learned how to install a virtual firewall such as pfSense on a Type 1 hypervisor. I hope this video has been informative for you, and I will see you in the next one.